They haunt our dreams. Giant cyclones of air and water sweeping across TV weather maps, ripping apart homes, flooding cities, and leaving complete devastation in their wake. Welcome to hurricane season. I'm MJ Banias, and this is The Breakdown.
We begin tonight with the devastation and the rising death toll from Hurricane Ida, bringing historic and deadly flooding to the Northeast.
So by definition, a hurricane is what we call a low pressure system. What that does, that leads the winds to want to swirl inward towards the storm.
This is Dr. Deanna Hentz, an atmospheric scientist from the University of Illinois.
And so all that is to say is that there's a range of threats that, yes, the most violent and most destructive are concentrated closer to the center, but one really needs to pay attention to the breadth of the potential risks across the storm.
And while many of us focus on the destructive center of the storm, experts say there is so much more to watch out for.
Because even if you're, a couple hundred kilometers away from the center, that can still have a pretty high impact.
So let's break down these threats and the damage they can cause. It's August 2021.
But the big story in Action News, of course, is Hurricane Ida making landfall in southeast Louisiana as a powerful Category 4 storm.
Storm caused incredible damage, but as the scenes of destruction hit our screens, many people were not prepared.
And so those precipitation bands can span out hundreds of kilometers from the center. Another thing that's also worth keeping in mind too is that outermost rain bands of the hurricane, especially in stronger storms, the conditions that are happening within those rain bands can actually spawn tornadoes as well.
As Ida moved northwards through New Orleans and then Mississippi, it was downgraded to a tropical storm.
In Alabama, that's where the National Weather Service confirms a tornado touched down this afternoon,
destroying several properties and resulting in 2 deaths. Over the next 48 hours, severe flooding and multiple tornadoes battered numerous counties.
We'll have the newest track here. Where does this head next? This will be felt across several states as it now moves north.
And then Ida came to New York.
Flash floods from Tropical Storm Ida have swamped New York City. The remnants of the storm caused massive flooding in America's financial and cultural capital.
According to economists, Ida was the costliest weather event of 2021, inflicting $75 billion in estimated damage. Overall, meteorologists did an excellent job plotting the storm's path and often accurately predicted where the worst impacts would be. But all that success pointed to a massive fail point.
Hurricanes are really excellent at showing you every single hole that you have in your social safety net and your infrastructure network. Those holes become glaring, especially in the wake of storms like this.
While authorities were able to issue warnings, not everyone received the alerts. In marginalized communities, people may have limited resources, preventing them from buying supplies or evacuating the area.
One thing that is really challenging is that, especially because of where a lot of marginalized communities live, they do have a tendency to be in regions that are more vulnerable to different weather hazards, especially flooding.
To make matters worse, global warming is changing how hurricanes play out. The air above tropical bodies of water now carries about 10% more moisture than it did in 1970.
Hurricanes are impacted by the winds in their environment, the sea surface, and the subsurface conditions in the ocean, and a variety of other things.
In Louisiana, where Ida made landfall, 30 people perished. Compare that to the 46 deaths that occurred days later and 1,000 miles away in New Jersey and New York, where people were unprepared. Even with the best crisis plans in place, it may be time to re-examine how we prepare and survive the next big hurricane. Thanks for watching. I'm MJ Banias, and this has been The Breakdown.